Hey, how's it going, guys? This is your boy Hazzed, and today we're on the 7.1.5. We're going to be discussing Unholy DKs. Also, going to be discussing side things like Unholy versus Frost, what 7.1.5 is going to be like, which one's going to be stronger, of course, in the DPS category, and a few things along those lines. Now, what I had to do, of course, on the 7.1.5 is re-grind out my Unholy artifact level at the moment because I couldn't transfer over my character from live. So I had to do twice the work to actually produce a video and have good comparisons for the class. So that was frustrating, but we did it. Doesn't matter. But anyways, guys, let's jump into this.
It's who we are, it's what we do, we've come so far, and now we pay the price, so don't even cry. The world is breaking down, and I cannot leave the ground.
So the majority of the testing I did on the Unholy DK was based around single target because Unholy, in my opinion, had pretty strong AoE, of course, as it was, and had the option to take even more. Now, the main problem I felt like with Unholy on live servers was their single target pressure / consistency in PvP, because they had good damage inside a burst, and then outside a burst they felt like kind of a utility class that just kind of helps another class kill a class based on mechanics. And that was a lot of people's frustration as a community, I could see. But anyways, guys, talking about 7.1.5 Unholy, the damage is actually quite a bit better than 7.1, especially when it comes to the consistency. The consistency was the craziest thing that I seen, because the consistency in 7.1 and the consistency to 7.1.5 is actually up about 80 to 100k on average when I do pulls on the downside. Now, the maximized burst wasn't actually much greater than it was on live. That was actually something that kind of surprised me, but then I thought about it a little bit. Even though, because our main burst wasn't actually being affected too much, of course some of the major buffs did manage to buff it up a bit. It was like 60 to 80k higher, I will admit, but it wasn't as big as the consistency buff that I noticed, and I was really surprised by it. Now, I haven't got to do too much PvP testing. As you know, the PTR, of course, the BGs, you can be in a queue for 2+ hours and nothing happens, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And that's what happens when you try to do it. What's happened when I've tried to do it? I don't understand. Maybe it's the time that I'm trying to recording, because I do it earlier on in the day. I think it's like 5 a.m. right now or something crazy like that. But anyway, Unholy DKs, I am enjoying it a lot more. As for like PvE single target DPS, I'd have to say that the consistency now for Unholy actually seems to be keeping up with my Frost spec, and that's kind of unsettling to me. On my live Frost spec, so like the consistency spec there on live right now, I'd have to say Unholy's consistency is probably going to be better than 7.1.5. But remember, Frost is also receiving quite a few large buffs, which of course is going to change our talents. And that's going to bring us into the discussion of whether Unholy DKs are going to be stronger in Frost in 7.1.5. Now, I believe that the insane burst from Frost is definitely going to be the builder in the 1v1 category. It's going to be the one thing that's actually going to make Unholy DKs perform less against a Frost DK is that breath, because how powerful it is. The way that Frost DKs would counter Unholy DKs is, of course, going chill streak, going breath, going just major AoE, proc and remorseless winter, and cleaving down the Unholy DK while killing his pet at the same time, leaving him in a stun. Of course, he has to trinket it, and while he's going through all this insane damage is coming at him. He's forced to play defensive. He's trying to pop his corpse shield. There is no corpse shield. He has to resummon his ghoul. That's another global down, as the Frost DK, of course, is hitting the Unholy DK with like 6 abilities at once. Then here comes Big Dragon after you summon the next one, and it goes downhill for Unholy, and they can't utilize their kiting ability because Unholy DKs, before, the way they countered breath was using chains of ice, which of course roots the target, which Frost DKs are the only ones that have it out of DKs now. So it kind of makes the Unholy DK unable to kite, and Frost DK just forces pure defensives under that logic. So it actually kind of ends up being worse for Unholy in that category. As for dueling other classes, it's definitely going to be a lot better for Unholy for things that they usually are better off doing. Like anything you can kite, things like that, anything in range is going to be better. Specifically, I'm pretty stoked to do it. I'm pretty stoked to play it buffed up a little bit. I think the pressure is going to be nice. Now, I did a little bit of course, AoEing and seeing how that was. And overall, I'd have to say that the damage was a lot more too, because of course the single target was up by 80 to 100k, and you start proccing some major cooldowns on multi-targets with those extra buffs, and of course it just kind of goes nuts from there. So I'm pretty sure you guys will be pretty excited for that. I'm not sure what their damage is going to be in PvP. Like, I'm pretty excited to see, but I think it's going to be up there. I think it's going to be up there with Frost DKs as far as that AoE slash damage category. Now, I can imagine DKs or Unholy DKs that are better than me are also going to be able to utilize this rotation, these buffs, a lot better, because I don't feel like I'm completely smooth in the rotation even yet, even after I created macros to help me with it, of course. And yeah, still need to tweak with it quite a bit and play around with it. But overall, I gotta say, in the DPS category, it's gonna be hard to see. It's gonna come down to the consistency, and they're really looking pretty even to me. But Frost DK's initial burst is definitely gonna be a lot higher based upon that crazy breath and remorseless winter buff. As for talking about specific Unholy buffs, I haven't been reading the patch notes on Unholy throughout all that time. I just kind of decided I was going to start playing Unholy and kind of reviewing things going on with it. What was it? Maybe a week ago or so. And generally, what I did with these videos and how I did these videos is I'd discuss with another higher rated Unholy DK. We'd have a nice discussion. Generally, it was hyped down. Most of the time, it was. And we'd talk about the duels. We'd talk about DPS. We'd talk about things like that. And we'd come to a conclusion about it. And then I'd make a video on the review. And that would just be how it went. And of course, now I have to kind of generate the information on my own at this point. But it's been kind of fun. A little bit stressful taking on the extra load, guys, but pretty enjoyable. So I think the next couple of videos that I'm going to be creating, of course, are probably going to be using these two specs inside of arena situations on the PTR. It might take a little bit because, of course, the queues are like 10, 15, 20 minutes sometimes for skirmish arenas, which is pretty insane. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Go ahead and leave a like if you enjoyed this information. If you're stoked for your Unholy buff, if you're stoked for your Frost buff, who cares what spec you are? We're all getting buffed. And until next time, this was your boy Hazzed.
The edge of the hellfire.